Okay, well, thank you. Really appreciate everybody taking the time to come. And I'll keep it real informal, so if you have any questions at any time, just ask. Um, I'm really going to cover three topics today. The one is a vision paper. Two is, um, we have been in the process of completing plans to renovate our main administration building. So I want to update you on that. And we have some pictures of what it might look like, hopefully when we're done. And then number three, I talk about the energy storage and try to keep it to half an hour. Is that about right?
Sounds great.
And let me just jump into it. So, you know, I guess I just always need to start out by saying that I'm just always amazed that the vision that the people had that put this facility together 40 years ago. They came together and came up with this idea for an ocean science and technology park 40 years ago this year. So it was 1974. And I just have my hat off to those people because I think it's just an amazing place. And for somebody to have, that vision that long ago, really shows a lot of foresight. I'm not exactly sure who it was. I think Governor Burns was a big part of it from what I hear. I think Dr. John Craven was a big part of it. I think the people at the University of Hawaii were a big part of it, but I think Senator Matsunaga was a big part of it. But I don't know the history. I've been here for a couple of years, so that would be something to write up someday. Nelly, I think that would be a good piece of history. So my hat's off to them. So this is what it looked like, that long ago. And if you told me that we can build the Ocean Science and Technology Park on that barren lava, this is 1980 when they first put the road in, I frankly would have told you that you're crazy. Dr. Z is in the house.
Hello.
How you doing?
Dr. G.
So anyway, yeah, so that's part of what I mean is that these people had this vision, and we've come a long way. I think we're doing really good. We're most of the land at the bottom of the park is fully developed. We got the beach park, moving up the road, and then the remaining land at this a planary zone?
That's a new one. I'm not familiar with it.
I don't want to. Hold on. So it doesn't work on the screen.
You had your finger right.
Does that make it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work on a screen.
Oh, because the screen's too
On the LED. So the land up there, and to some extent, we have maybe 250 acres left out of the 900 some acres that we started with. We have this land down here, but that's long-term development. There's no infrastructure down there, roads, seawater pipelines. There's no power, no telecommunications.
You're referring to the left side?
Yeah, sorry, down here, this partially graded land along the ocean. So this is the area that we're focusing on right now, up here. So this is all, there's nothing left down here, a few acres, the beach park, and then this area up here. Yeah, so orange is open land. This is a little bit outdated, some of these. This is conservation land, so we will use it someday, but not very soon. And especially since the county just purchased was it 200 acres? Well, so they're going to keep this all in conservation. So I think we've tried twice to get it changed from conservation to urban. So I don't see that happening.
Right in the flight path, too, isn't it?
Pardon?
Isn't it right in the flight path? Is that not a problem?
I don't think so. I think you could do aquaculture there. You know, there's a lot of historic sites there, though. We've done the preliminary survey, and I don't know. Maybe someday. So we got that 80 acres. You know, frankly, if I had my brothers, you know, I'd give it to the county. You know, let them use it for part of their big park that they purchased, and you know, I'd give the beach park to the county too, frankly. You know, you know, that would be so cool to have a county park, you know, and it costs us $50,000 a year to administer that park. So if Will accept it, Will accept. So I've mentioned it, you know, to the mayor's people already. So maybe someday. I don't know what my board thinks about it though, so I probably should check with them. What do you think, Alex? But I just say it's a good thing for Kona. You know, that'd be pretty cool. You know, as far as I'm concerned, a bigger park. So the vision. So I don't think it's really anything new. I think it's just a different way of saying maybe what everybody's always thought about and talked about for a long period of time. The genesis was that the board kept saying to me, Greg, what the heck are you doing? You know, and because we're working on all these new initiatives, but I don't think they could really see I didn't communicate it properly. So kind of went back and over the holidays made a couple of pictures, and this is one of them. And this is kind of this picture is like who we are. And I'll tell you from a state economic development perspective, kind of a world I deal with when I go to Honolulu. We're part of the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism. So this big Hawaii growth initiative that you hear about, I don't know if you hear about it, but old school thinking for economic development from the 50s and 60s is let's build a technology park and they will come, or let's build a industrial park and they will come. That's how you encourage economic development. Current thinking today, everybody thinks that that's not right. So we're old school thinking. We're a legacy, from the 70s and the 80s. That's what some people would say. So the new theory that everybody talks about and the state's growth initiative is based upon is this the Boulder thesis. The people what they call the Boulder thesis, and I don't know if this is too much background, but it's this. I think Felder is the guy's name. If you Google it, you'll find it. And everybody thinks that he is onto something, and basically is talking about building an entrepreneurial ecosystem to let the businesses grow. So when you hear about, actually he did that in Boulder. I think this is what they're planning for downtown Las Vegas. When you hear about them wanting to develop an area, to encourage entrepreneurial growth, I think Silicon Valley probably the same thing. They built the support ecosystem and to help it grow. So that was an issue for me, and I thought a lot about that. And I said, "Oh, we're old school, but we're new school." So I think the answer is in the middle somewhere. You have to have both. You have to, we're very innovative in that we're a seawater utility. We deliver all this seawater to all the businesses here in the park. Nobody else does that in the world. So I think that is encouraging a significant amount of innovation down here. But also, I think we are building the support ecosystem to help entrepreneurs, and that's the green circle, and that's why we kind of placed it half in or 3/4 in, 3/4 out. our universe is the large blue, light blue circle, ocean science, and you know when they started the park in the 70s, it was for OTEC, ocean thermal energy conversion, and you know they tried it, they spent a lot of time on it. I think that the price of oil had a big part of the future of OTEC. During that period in the 80s, it dropped in below $20 a barrel, and everybody kind of said, OTEC, yeah, maybe something else. So it fell out of favor, and but we had already built this delivery system to deliver vast amounts of ocean seawater onto the land here. So the people, this is my version of what I read, and Alex was there at the time, so he hasn't said I'm wrong, so maybe, I don't know how close I am, but so the people focused on the secondary use of the water, and that was the beauty of the park, and that's the beauty of OTEC always, is that you use the water first for creating energy and change the temperature a little bit, and then you reuse it for things like we're doing here in the park, and that's why I think OTEC is so cool. So we did those, and you know, we had those kind of businesses develop, and I think they're flourishing now. They're doing really well. You know, economic impact in 2011 was approaching $87 million a year from this tech park. That's pretty good. I mean, we're a state agency still, but we don't get any money from the state for operations. You know, we're a self-sufficient agency, which is pretty cool for a government agency, and but we still get state support for public goods like roads and major infrastructure projects and things like that. But I think we're, you know, taxes generated in the park are approaching $5 million a year, so that's a pretty good return on investment. Of the state's invested 120 million here, so that's a good. We have a couple more people, and so then a subset of that, who we are, is Ocean Energy, and that's where we started. That's OTEC, and I think what we're trying to do with OTEC right now is to reboot it. Mackay Ocean Engineering is really starting to do well. They have that small tower down there in the research campus. They just got another $4 million to put a turbine on there, but it's a small turbine, 100 kW, and people that know OTEC know that it's not the most efficient technology in the world, and that's why they talk about 100 megawatt to make it worthwhile to build a plant. So the 100 kW turbine will maybe net around 10 or something like that. It takes a lot to pump the water, but if you had a large system, you could generate vast amounts of energy. And we had the Solana is here, the biofuels, something I'll talk about in a minute. Energy storage is very important for us for a lot of reasons, and then maybe in the future, more energy research that we'll see here, especially in the storage area. And then a subset of that is ocean cooling, and like I said, none of this is new. It's just a different picture to help maybe people put it into perspective. And you know, we're looking at, and I'll get into that in a minute, the ocean centerpiece. People have called it a lot of things over the years. The economic driver. It's this 80 acres on the other side of the road here. But you know, one thing is seawater air conditioning is incredibly efficient, and they're building a seawater air conditioning district in Honolulu, and they're selling. You know, seawater air conditioning. I think they're just starting it now. They're getting close. They've let the contracts, but they're talking about you know, I don't remember the numbers, but I think it's something like a $200 million. I think it's over $200 million investment now to build a seawater air conditioning district in downtown Honolulu. Well, our current system that we have in place today, in the ground today, and can deliver cold seawater, we can deliver twice the volume that they're talking about building, and we can do it today. So we have a incredible opportunity here to build an area of development, sustainable development. I think something that something that would be there. I don't think there would be anything. My vision is there would be nothing else like it in the world. And much like the people that came here 40 years ago and said we're going to build an ocean science and technology park on that barren lava field, and look what they did. I think we need to find the kind of developer that can do the same thing for this sustainable living development. I think it would be. I think it could has so much possibility.
Can we keep it low rise?
Pardon?
Can we keep it low rise?
Well, I don't know. We got the 60-story towers. Is that low rise? Yeah, no. It would be sustainable. I don't think towers would. It's not Kaka'ako. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's
It's not going to be Kaka'ako. I think. Yeah. No. I think it would be like pretty cool. So, that's what I would like to see happen. Anyway, that's my vision. So, and then we have a lot of seawater for cooling, and a lot of people have talked about server farm data storage. A lot of people think it's a crazy idea. So, but I just throw it out there. That's one option for cooling. Cold storage has been talked about here for a long time, especially for agricultural vegetables. Store them here before they get shipped overseas, or even incoming, storage for fruits and vegetables coming in from Oahu before they go to, for example, the stores, or before they go to the hotels or any of the resorts. And so those are the things I think that's who we are. Those are the things I think you'll see here in the future. That's my vision. And then we talk about this support ecosystem, the ocean centerpiece. I'll talk about that in a minute. That's we still need to develop more infrastructure, and I don't think we're going to continue to get even state money for infrastructure maybe 10 years from now. So we have to find a way to build that ourselves, and this area would hopefully generate additional revenues. I'd like to see it come up as and this is not my idea, this is stuff that I've read about that people have proposed here at NELHA 10 years ago, but a living lab for ocean technologies, I think that would be incredible. Maybe an expanded research campus, proof of concept center, incubator office space, more microgrid development in the park, and kind of integrating this Gateway Energy Center, into the park. But those are the things that sometimes people. The point is here. Some people sometimes, even myself, maybe when I explain it, I confuse people because that's who you are. Oh, you're building a microgrid, or you're building an incubator, we're renovating the main building, and that's not who we are, So this is trying to say, no, who we are the blue circles, and if we want to develop this entrepreneurial support system, ecosystem, then that's what's in the green thing. That's what we're saying. That's not who we are, but those are the things we're trying to do to encourage, business development here in the park, and that's what this is saying. So, finish that. I think we're all comfortable with that at NELHA. The staff, and so then we talked about, well, maybe this is a life cycle. Maybe this is, where have you come from and where are you going? But the more, there's a lot of time. There's a lot in this. I spent a lot of time looking at this, and I think some of the main things in here are, I think this is the first time we've ever really said that it's going to take 75 years to build out this park. You know, nobody ever really talked about that before. Maybe they did. I didn't read about it. I've read most of the stuff. And if that's true, where are you on that, you know, ride, you know, from the beginning to the end? And you know, my argument, what I'm saying is that we're probably in the middle. We're probably a little over halfway. I think that, you know, we got another maybe 25, 30 years before you see full build out. I don't know if that's crazy or not, you know. You know, I think that some of the things we're saying here are, and this is historical to here, and this is, you know, what we're talking about in the future. I think that, you know, from 74 to 80, and there's no data behind this. This is an illustration to try to explain to people where I think we are. So the slope of this line, you know, is really flat because the first 6 years we didn't do much. And that first slide I showed you, when we put in the road to the research campus, it took 6 years to get that far, so it's pretty flat. We started OTEC, then we started building some buildings, and we started seeing a lot of the broodstock, the hatchery of stuff take place. And then I think we started to pick up steam, you know, around maybe around 2005. And, you know, as we started to generate more revenues, it was a tough time, you know, from 05 to 2010, because the state, that's when the state told us you have to be self-sufficient. So we had to eliminate 1.2 million from our budget and find a way to have the businesses in here stay. But that's why you see, I think we're focusing on those secondary uses. And here now, what I'm saying is we're kind of shifting a little bit. We're trying to focus on ocean energy a little bit more. And I'm not saying that you won't see these kinds of businesses that are here now. You'll still see them, but that's not a focus. You know, they'll still come. That's natural. But a lot of that land along the ocean is gone. You know, the upper areas are not as expensive to pump water up here. But so energy storage, you know, is something that we're going to focus on now. And then, you know, like this ocean centerpiece, the ocean cooling, it's going to be another 5 years before we can get the infrastructure in place to see some of that development come. And, you know, that's what this chart is trying to show, and trying to put everything in one place. And I you know, and those are certainly, I think, important things. Is that ocean science, ocean energy, ocean cooling from the previous slide are on here. I think it's important that they're subsets. I think some of the I think the support ecosystem is in here, and feel free to comment on it. I presented this to the board, and they said that you know, nobody disagreed with it, but they said this is a living document. I think that was a polite way of saying, well, it's a good start, keep working, you know. But and it is a living document. You know, it can never be the end of a vision. And so, you know, and I've gotten a lot of comments, a lot of good comments, and please feel free to send them.
On this future going toward energy, are the things that are going to just be more energy, can they come up where it's more expensive? And because I'm thinking of that slide you showed, I didn't realize that NELHA owned that part out where the manta ray dives are. That's near shore. That could be all aquaculture, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It could be.
You don't see anything stopping that, do you?
The only problem is that we don't have the money to provide infrastructure to that area. Yeah.
Well,
It-
if somebody comes along with a really good product and can afford to put their own pipes in.
But you know, I don't know what the issue is with that land. You know, Sinotech partially graded it. they want to expand, but they don't want to use that property to expand. So I don't know if it's too close to the ocean. I don't know what the issues are down there. Maybe it's remote. Maybe it's too expensive to get power access. I'm not really sure. Keith, you know, hard to
All
say.
of those.
All of those.
Plus getting water out there too.
Getting water out there.
I can
So
tell you the Atsalana, that's our major issue, is the power one.
is the power. Yeah.
It's just a piece of water. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna extend, but that's the major issue.
Yeah.
Oh, but you can generate your own power, right? Because you're in
So you know, that's kind of the setting the stage. That I wanted to say that first, and then not sure what's next. So I just want to throw this in here. One of our major initiatives is, you know, the research campus. It's 6 acres. It's you know, the board is interested in, and the businesses here are interested in us diversifying, developing new revenue streams, trying to bring down the cost for all the businesses here. And so this is, to me, is low-hanging fruit. The infrastructure is all there. We don't really need to do anything. We just need to kind of make better use of it, fully utilize it. And the master plan talks about this as a research village. It's about 6 acres. It's master permitted. You know, we can get people in there right away. We could generate a lot more money from this area if it was better utilized, and that's what we want to do. We did get money to renovate this building and try to use it as maybe a catalyst, a centerpiece to redevelop the research campus. And, you know, this is a research campus, and there's a lot of resources there. If you're going to develop an incubator or an accelerator, you know, which is something that we're trying to do. We have the main administration building in the middle. We have that Butler building. I think it's probably a couple thousand square feet coming down. And then we have the Ke'anahana building, 4,000 square feet. And we have a wet lab, 4,000 square feet. And then storage all in that 6 acres, you know, maybe, I don't know what of the 6 acres, maybe 2 or 3 acres is open space that we could lease out for projects like energy storage devices, for one thing, that's for sure. And but we have some other projects. The gentleman here that's doing the grapes, Rich, has a small project down there now. So I think there's a lot more potential. So this project, we're going to renovate the main building. These are some of the renderings that we've gotten. This is a kind of a side view of what it will look like. I just kind of throw this out here. I think it's pretty exciting. We're out to bid right now. This is Alex. Does everybody know Alex? I think we just hired Alex in January. You know, I'm just like excited that he would come to work for us. Dr. Leonard has a background in marine biology and was at AquaSearch and knows construction inside out, and we got a lot of construction, so we have a lot of work for him, and I think this is exciting. And you know, we're going to have try to get a collaboration area in the middle. So basically there'll be kind of four modules the way I see it. In the front, there'll be 2,500 square feet on the ground floor for offices. And if we're lucky, we're going to get the Small Business Development Center to move in. And then the 2,500, huh?
It's on the radar screen.
Isn't that nice?
It's beautiful. I'm
Isn't
like,
it?
okay.
So then 2,500 square feet, you know, on the second floor in the front. Then we have this collaboration area, workspace in the middle with a nice bridge connecting the two. And then in the back, there would be the same thing, 2,500 square feet on the ground floor and 2,500 square feet on the second floor. So 10,000 square feet of office space, so relatively small, but with a nice area, because with incubators, you know, the concept is try to get people to work with each other and collaborate. This collaboration area, I think, is really important. And hopefully we'll be starting construction right around May, and we're out to bid right now, and I think we're moving along quickly. You know, this window here on the second floor that you're seeing from the lanai there, that would have a really nice ocean view. I think this building will really look sharp. The second floor in the front will have, you know how we have the conference room in the Keanahana building right now, the big conference room? That will be on the second floor in the front with that lanai balcony out in front of it with nice ocean views. I think it'll be a real centerpiece. I could see having tech pahanas in that, right there in that place. You know, I think it'd be pretty cool. So here's another view. The front of the building is up this way, and this is still pretty current, is what it'll look like. Yeah, and you know, I think I think it will really help us as a catalyst to develop the research campus. Ocean Centerpiece development is here. I'll talk about that. I got to speed up a little bit. So, so this is the master plan. So when we talk about Ocean Centerpiece and economic driver, it's this 80-acre piece right here. We're right here now at the Gateway Center. So it's this 80-acre piece, and this is what we're working on right now. So we're designing these roads now. Light purple, magenta is existing, and then we're designing these other roads to connect the highways here. As you know, when they complete the widening of the highway, we will not have access to the northbound lanes from the current access road. So this is where our access will be at Kaiminani Drive, and that will kind of change the region quite a bit, I think. And this will be a fully signalized four-way intersection here at Kaiminani, and actually this will become our front door. This will become the entrance to the park. And one of Alex's other projects is to finish this road within a couple months. No, so we have the money to build the road in light blue. So we have the $10 million. So we're in the design phase, and I think we just got the draft EA. So the environmental assessment will probably be out in a couple weeks, and that will open up this 80 acres. That will go right down the middle of it. And then when I talk about Ocean Centerpiece, that's that shaded area there, and that's where I talk about a living lab, sustainable building. That's where we want to deliver all the deep sea water for cooling too. And remember when we looked like this and people said it wouldn't happen? I think that's where I think we are with this 80 acres now. We got to find the people that can make the development there happen. But it's going to take 25 years, I think, to fully build out that 80 acres.
When can we drive on the road? This year?
I don't know. It's got to talk to Alex. We hope to complete design and by the end of the year. Yeah, is that doable, Alex?
Right.
2015 is a good bet. So we've been racing to make sure that we complete this road. One of the biggest things is we complete this road before the highway gets. They complete the divided highway, but it appears that might not be an issue as much as it was when I got here 2.5 years ago. These are some projects we're working on in the funding amounts. One of the big issues we're working on right now is looking for additional water, for potable water, not for seawater, for the future build out of the park. And I think it's like, it's one of those things that just kind of slipped. through the organizational structure when they developed the park over there over the years. I think the initial allocation, well, when the University of Hawaii originally developed the area along the shoreline back, I think they got those approvals like in 79, 80. The Board of Water Supply didn't give allocations for water, and I could have it mixed up. Maybe they did back then. And then the other half of the park was developed by the High Technology Development Corporation in the mid 80s, sorry. And then they combined the two in 91, but when they combined the two, I think maybe somebody forgot about the potable water allocation, so it was never increased. So even though the size of the park doubled, the allocation of water never increased. So we've been struggling with that kind of artificial ceiling for quite some time. And so we said, well, we'll go ahead and try to find additional water as a way to solve the problem. And we're trying to do that right now. So in summary, before we get to the storage, the things we're trying to do: maintain and complete the build out of the seawater system. These are our top three. Add energy production and storage. Start the beginning of a smart grid, microgrid, and then provide the infrastructure necessary for the ocean centerpiece. Energy storage. So we did, and if you want to kind of read about it, go back to read some of what we're trying to do. It's all described. It's on our website. I think it's in the resources in the library. Go to resources library. And so we did a study. Pictor did a study for us last year, and that's the blueprint for what we're trying to do with energy storage. And you can go there and read it. It's online, and that's what I get. That's what I did. So I tried to pull a couple slides from that study here. So they talked about the projects that we should do, and I think, the way I read it is that, some of the advantages that we have if we're going to develop these projects would be real world simulations. I think, we're a large user of electricity because we pump a lot of seawater and we use power to do that. So, that's an advantage for us. So for us, we want to bring down the cost of pumping the seawater to the businesses here because, that makes it more affordable for them, or at least keep the costs consistent or stable. And it's hard to add more renewable energy down here. We're struggling with that because this is probably one of the highest penetration grids in the state because of so much high solar insulation. So if we add some storage down here, we can accomplish a lot of goals, including allowing us to add more renewables down here. I believe, from what I understand, is that energy storage is really exploding in interest. I think there's a lot of potential in that area for businesses. I think you're seeing small businesses, startup companies, even large companies jumping into the energy storage game because of this problem of high penetration of renewables and intermittency of renewables on the grid. And it's clear to me that we've been working with Hawaiian Electric, HELCO, and helping. And Will has been guiding us. Will's the energy coordinator. He's been helping us kind of along because this is not my area of expertise. But Hawaiian Electric really wants to modernize the grid, and they want to be more of a energy producer. They want to be a service provider. They want to help, and this is what I view, and they're trying to add and modernize the grid. There's a lot of electricity, very complicated, but hopefully I don't oversimplify it, but they are interested in testing. There's so many new products coming on the line in energy storage. They're in, and some of them are beta, pre-commercial, and they're saying, efficiency is a big thing for energy storage. And I say energy storage, I don't mean just batteries. I mean mechanical, I mean compressed air, I mean other hydrogen, other types of storage, not just batteries. But nobody, they're so new, some of these products, I think what I hear from the electric company is like, we'd like to test some of these things, and we would like to better understand what the impact would be on our grid so we can modernize the grid, develop a better grid, provide a better service to everybody in Hawaii. And so they see us as a big energy user as a perfect place to test them. And so that's kind of the genesis or the background behind the energy storage. And I think it's historic. I mean, I said that I don't know of any place where a utility, a county, and a state have all agreed to work together on renewable energy or clean energy. And so I think it's a really small beginning for us, but I think it has so much potential for us. I think it really does. And if we can keep adding, more energy storage down here and testing out bigger and bigger devices, I think we can add more renewables. I think we can have, renewable prices at night and the daytime, and I think the businesses here could see stable electrical costs. That's my feeling. The thing is that what the study says, and is like, this is for me one of the most important slides, and you can't do it by yourself. Okay, so you got to have partners, and that's what we've been doing, and can't say enough about how grateful we are to the county for agreeing to participate in this, Will, and for Hawaiian Electric, Jay Ignacio's people and Jay, all coming together to try to find a way, everybody's benefiting from this initial project. And, they're talking about, I see two things, R&D, we're gonna have to partner with the University of Hawaii better. The board of directors at NELHA is one of the big three things they've asked me to do is pay more attention to the university and find a way to integrate what you're doing with the University of Hilo, Olamanui, and Manoa as well. And so that's something that we really want to do. And then, with the utilities as well and private businesses. And, so where are we going to take this? A lot of, what this release was about and having an agreement to work together is we need a fourth partner, though. And that would be the federal government, one of the national labs. So in a couple weeks, we're going to go to Sandia National Lab in Albuquerque and talk to them, try to understand what their agenda is, what are they focusing on, what facilities do they have here, they have there, and we're going to try to explain to them, what we're trying to do, what Host Park is all about, and then we're going to go to Lawrence, Berkeley, LBNL, in Oakland, and talk to them, same thing, they're a little bit different, those labs, and then this is from the Picture study, and then in May we'll go to Pacific Northwest in Washington State, and to NREL, Renewable Energy Lab in Boulder, and then Argonne National Lab. And so that's kind of what we're trying to do next and build more partnerships. So we're just starting. Hopefully, we would like to see some of the first energy storage devices in the middle of this year. That's going to be tight. But certainly by the end of the year, we've been approached by several companies already. And the last thing I'll say is that a lot of this, I can't thank the National Renewable Energy Lab in Boulder enough. They gave us $400,000 last year. They have a large simulation lab that they built the ESIF, and I don't know what it stands for. Do you know, Ulrich? It's this big, large simulation lab, 200,000 square feet lab, and 5 grids, and they can do a lot of simulation, but they needed data, and so they gave us some money because we're a large energy user, and we have a large seawater pumps that have variable speed drives on them, which causes a lot of strange things to happen on an electrical line that I don't know anything about. So they gave us a bunch of power meters and money to put in a computer system to monitor the power that we use on our side, on the demand side of the meter. And we're streaming that to them now, and they want to be able to have that in their lab. They said they needed some clean energy, so they gave us some money to put in 30 kW of PV. And so with the SCADA system, with the computer system and the power monitors, and with the free power that we have, we're combining that with the energy storage, and so we have the free power. And so what we're telling these pre-commercial companies is like, we'll give you free power, and we're looking at testing small devices. My understanding, Will, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of these energy devices are scalable. Ulrich, is that true? Much like OTEC is scalable. I think the energy devices are scalable. So if you test a 10 kW flywheel, for example, what I understand is you could stack 10 of them, right, and get 100 kW. Maybe I'm wrong. But so we're talking about testing maybe 3 to 5 small devices in the 10 kW range. We would provide the power, we'd provide a low-cost site, we would provide real-time streaming to these companies of the data, so they could be on the mainland, and they could get real-time data, they could see it, and that's generally what we're offering. Technical support from Hawaiian Electric to help connect these devices, but they would pay for that. So our loss is really not that much. If the battery efficiency is, let's say, 85%, our electricity loss is really only going to be 15%. So, I think it's a wonderful little program. If we are successful, I think we would add more PV and try to grow, the number of devices that we could test, maybe larger devices. I think we could get into probably grid size energy storage devices eventually. I think we're talking about the small devices now. And, so we can do that, and we can, at the same time, we can add more renewables on our grid, microgrid here at the park, so we can stabilize the cost of electricity. That's really a big thing that's driving it for us. But I've talked way more than I have now.
What are some of these devices? You mentioned quite hydrogen and air compression. What are some of the ones you're talking about?
Flywheel, I think everybody gets excited. Everybody gets excited about flywheels. All of these devices have different, I'm not an expert, Ulrich should be up here now, but from what I know, they all have different characteristics, okay? So flywheels are important because they can release the energy instantly back onto the grid. That's one of their big advantages.
It's a mechanical flywheel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Momentum to store energy.
Yeah. And compressed air can do the same. This would be underwater compressed air storage offshore. A lot of pluses and minuses. I think compressed air is pre-commercial, but we've been approached by three companies to do compressed air storage here already, and we're a perfect testing place for it. We have spare pipes going underneath the shoreline, so they could get the conduit, the pipes out, the air out there very easily because there's no environmental change.
Kind of low pressure or high pressure? Couldn't be very high because it's just all plastic pipes, right?
No, they would just use our plastic pipes for the conduit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they would put in stainless steel, like 4-inch So, I mean, and those are the two, hydrogen storage. Will, lot of batteries.
You know, the flywheels are really interesting because they're seemingly cost effective and they only degrade 5% in a 24-hour period. So we're really serious about flywheels, so is HELCO. Lithium ion batteries, there's one at Puyo already and one at the West Hawaii Civic Center it's reducing our bill by, $10,000 a month and theirs by $10,000 or $15,000 a month. Other technologies, hydrogen, you named it, all those things.
Pumping water up the hill.
Well, Greg's already doing that. So the real trick is, in the future, the ocean center, could you take the seawater air conditioning from that and flow it downhill maybe to the airport? So he already is a pump storage facility.
I think you could. That's the beauty. That's the thing about the people that had the vision for the park so long ago. If you did get the water up there for cooling, the cold water, there's nothing wrong with it when you're done with the cooling, except it's 10 degrees Fahrenheit warmer. It can still go back downhill and be used for the aquaculture companies. So you could run it through. We're trying to get a 1 megawatt OTEC plant down here still. And so you could run it through the OTEC plant, get the energy out of it, pump it up the hill, get the cooling, and you could still use it a third time. I think that's just incredible.
As it goes down the hill, it goes to a turbine to drive,
Yeah,
using
you
another
can
generator.
go to the hydro.
And then you put it in.
That's why I think so many possibilities here. Pretty cool.
Have any battery companies contacted you to participate in your project?
Well, we announced it last week, and we've had three now inquiries. But we're more interested initially in we need to. I think there's a lot of technical advice that we need, and so I think it's important that we try to find a partner at one of the national labs first before we get too far along. But yeah, three have approached us.
Or a commercial partners that would put a whole package together of the photovoltaic, the inverters, the battery, so that you're ready to go once the tests have been completed, and HELCO, being a partner, will have put their stamp of approval, so we don't need long permit delays.
Maybe. I can see. I guess I say maybe we're being recorded here, so we haven't got that far. I'm not gonna you have a proposal in mind. I have a feeling.
We have
You want
here in
pre-approval?
Hawaii a state of emergency regarding the
Yeah.
photovoltaics. Time is ticking, and who knows if you tell me 2016 comes along, will we get an extension of the federal credit to 30%? So what can we do between now and then, hardware-wise?
I don't know. The storage people say it's $1 a watt. I've heard
$1 a
people
watt
say
hour?
that.
What hour?
Yeah, a watt hour. $1 a watt. Hour.
Well,
I know the
photovoltaic is dollar a watt.
engineers.